know we're in water, but we're not gonna stay in water. But yeah, when it came to like Shadow of the Colossus, obviously that's not a game that you necessarily like invest time into getting better at it. But it felt really nice playing it. Like it felt like, you know, holy shit, like this is what a good video game is all about. Like all these boss fights, like every single one, like it's funny because legitimately like all the bosses are like better than the next, like it's always better than the next one. Like the last boss is the best one, and then afterward like the second last is also like the difficulty like actually ramps up as you progress through all of it. It's so well paced and so well executed. Like it's obviously, you know, it being a much older game, it has some jank of like old games, right? Like when you fight with the horse, fight with the camera, that sort of stuff. But I mean, it's kind of expected, really. It was way, way ahead of its time. Just the fact that it holds up so well today, pretty crazy. Because to be fair, like, you know, aside from the graphic, like the remake that they've done, like, it didn't really change the game. It really just, like, changed the visuals. The jank is part of the fun, just like Dark Souls 1. I mean, I think, like, the game would be better if you had, like, just a little bit more control over your horse and your camera, for instance, but it doesn't, like, it's not a big enough of a deal for me to, like, say, oh, you know, it took away from the experience. Quite not. But, like, if I was to speak on behalf of, like, someone who would be, like, very skeptical about this and or was not sure about trying it out, I would say like that's what you would have to step over. It's like, okay, you're gonna have to accept that this is not going to be like perfectly up to the same standard as like a modern game when it comes to like controls. Wow, I did not even get that. That's kind of crazy. I felt like my backstab attempt there was like perfectly executed. I don't know. That's it for him. He doesn't care, he's just spamming. A fitting end for a bonebow abuser? Yep. The vibe from my Dark Souls 3 vid is very different. I mean, of course it's going to be because I'm not playing Elden Ring for the same reasons I was playing Dark Souls 3, you know? I am playing Elden Ring in the through the lens of like it being a job and an important part of my revenue in order to pay the bills. Whereas Dark Souls 3 it was like I wanted to be there, you know? Big difference. And I think a big reason why I'm still sticking up with Elden Ring is the fact that you kind of have to keep the train going for the channel for the next thing, whatever that is, you know. You can't just take a break midway through. Like for instance, Steel said it perfectly. Like Steel was already very established with Dark Souls 2, and he had to build all of that all over again with Elden Ring because he took a break with Dark Souls 3 basically. Took a break away from Souls. And even though he was already very established, like it was not even the same people around back then to now. So it's important that if you want to, you know, be ready for the next Souls, that you don't just give up at the first difficulty for Elden Ring and content. With that being said, though, I am completely open-minded to like another game and another genre if it captivates me, you know, like if I'm like, holy shit, like this game is the new sliced bread, yeah, I might actually dive really deep into it, even if it's not the most popular thing. It's like, I remember back in Dark Souls 3, like people were asking me why I didn't decided to become to like focus on fighting games, for instance. And it's a very common question, and the reason why it's so common is that a lot of people are not very good at these games, and so they don't understand what it takes to be really good at a game, or anything really, to be honest. And it's really passion, like as cliche as it sounds, like you have to be passionate about it, and you can't really choose what you're going to be passionate about. You can't like be like, okay, I want to be passionate at engineering, and so I'm going to become like a passionate engineer because, you know, this is what I picked for being passionate about. No, you're just naturally going to gravitate to towards what you're passionate about. So you can't really choose that. It's the same for like, you know, if you are good at whatever shooting game, well, you're good at this game because you really like that one, and not the other one, which would be more popular, you know? And that's really true for, like, really any discipline. Like, you're gonna be good at the one that you gravitate toward the most because you prefer it for whatever reason. No, I've never got interested in fighting games. I don't really care about it, like, at all. Yeah, if you want to compete at the highest level in any competitive game, you need to love it. There's no doubt about that. Here comes the question the whole chat wants to know. If you could pick one weapon for duels, and also one for invasions, not the bow, what would it be? Well, I mean, Breadstock, you already know the answer for the fucking second part. Of course I would pick the fucking Golem Great Bow. I've been saying it since the very beginning. Like, even at the very, very, very start of Elden Ring, when we did not even know that Great Bow was the best fucking weapon, I was saying that the cannon was the best invasion weapon. Because seriously, like, having a range option with AoE like that, it's just like so strong in invasion and so important that even if we didn't have the fucking Great Bow, the cannon would still like take its place, even though it's wildly inferior. But yeah, I mean, for duels, it's like you're basically asking what's the best weapon for duels and what's the best weapon for invasions. I'll be honest, I don't know like for sure what is exactly the best weapon. Because I think, like, if you really wanted to win a duel at all costs, I think you'd start, honestly, I think, actually, my philosophy for what is the best weapon for duels, or the best strategy for duels, has not really changed, even throughout all the patches and the changes that the game went through. I've always been saying that if you were trying to win at all costs, you'd start by poisoning your opponent, because it's so easy to poison someone in this game. And in duels, it's still absolutely true. It has not changed. And honestly, if you were trying to win, like for sure, you'd start by poisoning your opponent. It can be done through many means, but I think the strongest poison would be to rot your opponent. So probably you'd start with Enspur. You'd start with an Enspur, and then you'd I'll finish my turn after that. Dude. This is insane! Holy shit, already? Did we just started the stream? They always DC, man. What the hell? Yeah, so what I was saying... God damn it, man. Okay, so basically you'd... Like, if you wanted to win at all costs, like, you'd start by rotting your opponent or poisoning your opponent. And then afterward, you'd switch to something that has a much more meaningful punish than the rapier. Because if you stick with the rapier, like, it's going to be more optimal for your opponent to just bolus in your face at some point during the fight. Eat, like, a punish, which would be, like, a running R2, or at worst, like, a jumping R2. But from the rapier, it doesn't really do all that much. But, like, if you switch to, like, a Colossal... like an HTS or or like double Great Lance or whatever, like double Great Lance with the jump R2, it's a much more, or jump L2, it's a much more meaningful punish. So there it's, or even double Naginata or whatever, like there's a lot of options that would give you like a much more dangerous punish. And so you'd be better off doing that. But if you want like one weapon, one, maybe Clean Rot is a better option than Enspur if you can only pick one. But I'm not 100% sure on that. I didn't want to hit teammates, so I angled to the side again. Well, he doesn't share the same sentiment though. That roll was by accident that I just did there. Ratpada 72 decks, Claws of Night Gaming. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of option now. Like, you could absolutely, like, you know, go full Endure with Pada. But I do think that, like, it depends on your skill level too. Like, for someone who's not necessarily as savvy with spacing, yeah, you'd probably be better off with something like Pada spamming Ender, you know? Like, there's definitely, like, option that takes less effort to get, like, an outcome out of it, you know? And if you're, like, really, really bad at the game, like, really fucking bad, like, you know, maybe something that's, like, completely cheesy and requires, like, absolutely, like, 0 brain cells would be better. Like, I don't know, I can't think of anything, but, like, you know, like a light roll fucking spamming, like, Star Shower with, like, gravitational missile to cover your, like, you know, like, there are plenty of tactics which require, like, fucking zero reflex and effort. You just need to know, like, okay, I want to do this, this, and that in this order, and then I'll have a good chance at, like, killing anyone. Unless they actually know the matchup. But if you could pick, like, one weapon for invasions, I'm gonna assume you mean, like, a melee weapon. I think it's a hard pick, dude. It's a very hard pick to pick, like, one melee weapon for invasions, because right away, like, there's actually 2 weapons that I feel are very, very good for invasions. That I gravitate to a lot. Actually, there's more than that, but, like, Sight is one. Flame Strike Sight is one. Flame Strike Freya is another one. And now that I look at it, fucking heavy sword lance, dude, that sword lance damage output is not to be underestimated. That shit hurts. It really does hurt real bad. So that's another one. And then Pada, obviously. Pada is definitely, like, an option you would be, like, picking for invasion, where you just have a weapon that can do everything. You can win 1v1 with that very easily. You have Ender that you can put on it to escape any situation. You can get your burst damage through the running R2 combo. You can catch light roll. You know, I think the Pada would be the obvious choice for invasions, honestly. There's really nothing that comes close to what Pada can do in this game. You miss Honest Qatar? I felt like Qatar was in such a good place, even with the combo, right? Like, what they should have done is actually give the combo to Qatar and not give the combo to Pada, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to have, like, something stupid like Pada, make it do, like, half the damage it does now, remove the combo, and then give the fucking combo back to Qatar instead. Then you have, like, some sort of balance between the two, you know? But, like, honestly, I'm not even interested in getting into, like, these balanced discussions anymore, because I've just accepted it. Dude, what is this spawn, though? Like, I can't... Like, I would be able to jump there, but, like, at what price? And there's nothing here. And there's actually no way to go down, I think. Is there? Okay, maybe here, actually. Here would be a safe way to go down. Must be exhausting to discuss and figure out where you stand and what is and what isn't with all the balance and from such changes with all the weapon. Yeah, I mean, you know, then I get, what's it called? You know, I get called out for complaining all the time, right? Because we talk about the balance often, and it often comes up, but, like, really, yeah. I don't really feel the need to talk about it. It's just that it just always gravitates toward this topic with, like, everyone's question for the game's future and everything. It all revolves around that, really. Get labeled. Labeled is the word I was looking for. I know it's raining, but oh well. Oh my god, that was a nasty ass delay. Oh yeah, blind spot, bro. Like, I'm very often, like, I don't even think of blind spot, because for me, like, it's so busted that it doesn't even exist in my head. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I never play with it. I never fucking play with that thing, because it's so brain dead and stupid that I don't even want to touch it. Like, like, it's like light roll, you know? Light roll, blind spot. These are the sort of stuff that are so, like, game-breaking that I just don't even fucking care about playing with it. Like, even if it would give me, like, a higher win percentage, like, it's just... It doesn't even, like... It feels bad to play with. It's not rewarding whatsoever. Were you playing Dark Souls 3 a few hours ago? That's a good one. You know how much I care about Dark Souls 3? It's dead, dude. Last time I played it was, like, what? A year and a half? Maybe... Actually, it's probably 2 years now. 2 years ago. Hope that answers your question. But, you know, my favorite part is that people always wish I was still there. And they wished, oh yeah, I beat you in Dark Souls, right? The person I just fought, like, it was you, right? The person I beat? Like, people always wish it was me somewhere. It's always funny. Seal Shield Blind Spot as one of the only counters to Dueling Shield. Dueling Shield is another one that unfortunately is kind of broken, but like Blind Spot being a counter to Dueling Shield, as much as it's probably true, it's a counter to everything. It's not a counter to Dueling Shield, it's a counter to like everything. It's pointless. But Dueling Shield is pretty much the same. Like, these are like, you know, if you pull out Dueling Shield, like, there's a good chance your opponent won't be able to do anything. If you pull out Blind Spot with BHB, there's a good chance your opponent won't be able to do anything. Like, these things are just massively broken. Especially in 1v1. Or when you're outnumbered. Like, for instance, this light rolling host. So I think it's going to be easier to kill him with Pada, though. Not this one, but the host. Oh, I forgot to change my... I got grabbed, insane. Thank you, dumb PvE. Need to readjust this. I need to save my game with these. Bro. I love how the PvE is like so annoying in this game when you're invading that more often than not it's a nuisance instead of helping you. His net was a bit too trash for my taste, but whatever. Lone Ranger, thank you so much for the resub for 4 years, bro. Welcome back, man. Thanks for 4 years. Thanks a lot, dude. Okay, so let's put this back here, like that, and yeah, now we should be good to go. I know, right? Fucking these claws do so much freaking damage. Yo, what's up, Firekeeper? Do the paras work better on dex or strength? I think, actually, they're honestly, like, they're really the same. Like, I don't think you should make your build strength or dex around para because, like, they're very close AR-wise and, like, stat spread-wise. Like, if you make your build, like, a typical strength build or a typical dex build, like, the AR is very similar, so... I think you should pick strength or dex based on another weapon, because Pada is going to perform quite well on both. Oh, somehow. Honestly, Breadstock, if your question still stands, if you were asking which invasion weapon is the best aside from Golem, maybe Bone Bow is actually the proper answer. Maybe. You know, you make an optimized Bone Bow build. I'm not entirely sure if it would actually be better. Bone Bow, I think, is the weapon that encapsulates the Elden Ring experience the most. I think, like, if you think of a weapon that represents Elden Ring, like, better than anything else, I think Bone Bow is it. Just perfect tracking, spam, L2... distance, you know, ghost hit, sleep. think he got the wrong spell. Yeah, but I mean, Brett, I don't even think it's a good example. And you know why? Because the ganks would be able to do the exact same thing with pretty much, like, you could name, like, almost anything in the game, and they'd be able to, like, kill you like that in 3-shot, like, from a distance. Like, nearly everything in the game is like that when you're getting outnumbered. It's like if you told me you got killed like that by Comet, I'd be like, yeah. If you told me you got killed like that by, what's it called? Giant Flame Take D, well, it would have been 2-shot instead of 3-shot. You got killed by Moonveil like that, yeah, another 3-shot, you know? If you got killed by, you know, what other range options are there with, like, tracking like that? I mean, there's really, like, there's so many of them. It's like you can think of it really any mage spell, like Night Comet, another one, fucking. Like if you have 2 people spamming at you with Stormblade, even. Bolt of Xanax, maybe not as much because it takes longer to cast, but... But Bolt of Xanax definitely like forces a roll and can hit from a pretty insane distance. Can be quite annoying when fighting multiple people. But yeah, Stormblade is pretty obnoxious for sure. Yeah, laggy Grand Sax though, yeah. When like the projectile is desync, oh yeah. Or like desync Wave of Piss is another one. If you're like fighting someone and you have another guy that just spams Wave of Piss and it's desync, it's like good luck. Really good luck out there. Oh yeah, the fucking an unendurable frenzy, that it's basically a one-shot. Unendurable frenzy, if you get caught by it while fighting someone else, it's pretty much GG, you're dead. Oh, Dragon Breath. How can we forget Dragon Breath, you know? That it doesn't even matter if you're fighting 1 or 2 people. If you don't stop the Dragon Breath and you're in range, it's also going to be GG if they have the build for it. There's like so many fucking options out there that are like that. Bear Roar. Yeah, Bear Roar if you're fighting someone else and then you have one that Bear Roars. It's like, good luck with that. Uporia. Yeah, also, Uporia. Absolutely, dude. Uporia is a pain to deal with because since they can free aim it, it's a constant laser. You actually cannot avoid it. It's like, you know, you could keep on naming. How can you die? It's like the 1,000 ways you can die in Elden Ring while getting outnumbered. And they're all like range too, like... Forget about getting killed from melee range, look at all the range stuff. Oh shit. Decided to go for it. We almost got victim to that, but thank God for Solitude Armor. I mean, I'm sure, like, a Beast Roar build, like what Mungus did, like, a while ago for the 2v2s, like, that shit did a lot of damage. I'm sure it would be a pain if outnumbered. I mean, it was already doing work in 2v2s when we had, like, good teammates. I mean, let's not forget Star Shower. Just fighting Star Shower, it's like... Urumi's a one-shot machine? Well, we were talking about range attack, but it's true that Urumi has so much range that you could almost consider it like a spell. Oh yeah, spread crossbow, that's another one. Spread crossbow also like borderline unreactable depending on the range. It's quite dangerous too. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure if we looked at like a list of all like Elden Ring stuff, we would probably find more more things like that one shot or such, right? I wonder if there's another teammate in the world or if they have the tongue open. They usually do. Well, I mean, they just went up, so... Got a teammate, but since they went up, like, do we give him a chance to, like, come down, or... As you know, like, you could technically, like, you know, fight next to a fog wall, right? You could do that. Or you could fight on, like, a tiny platform, but... Like, will you, though? Alright. I think they went back down. Ah, they're not coming down. Alright. I know it's not, like, necessarily the type of game people in these streams play when it comes to, like, shooting games and such, but I really want to do a Deathless, like, Fallout 4 run as well. Something I would be interested in doing. Close. Big duels, guys. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, I thought I was not going to catch him. Fake duels. Cool. panic. Fallout 4 base building stream. Oh yeah, I forgot. That would get lost into base building. I'm not sure that's necessarily what people want to watch. That's a good answer, Dudley. I like that. One day, New Vegas, Deathless run. Oof. I'm not sure I would go back to New Vegas. Too dated, man. I say that, but I've actually like watched a lot of Scorch Knight's playthrough for both like Fallout New Vegas, and I think he even played Fallout 3 as well, I think. I'm not sure. And it was actually quite enjoyable watching him. But yeah, I think we would captivate the audience more by just playing Skyrim, probably. Wait, that's... Bro, it's our buddy Nightlord. Holy shit, what is he doing here? Would be nice if he has the tongue on. What are you doing here, Knight? Oh, he rolled that somehow. What are you doing, Knight? Oh, I can hear it. Should probably switch to something that's less telegraphed. I'm not sure what he was doing. I think he was playing with a friend, probably. This was definitely not his PvP loadout. He wasn't even showing 1% of his power. Hey, I mean, Nightlord's bread and butter is fucking, you know, it's parry swapping at random times. And he tried it. You can look at it at the end there. He went for it. I do not like this spot. There you go, let's get out of here. I mean, they have to fucking come down. Here we go. TJ, thank you so much for the resub, man. Geez, that was a random you picked? I thought you were, like, playing with your girlfriend or something. Like, no joke. It'd be nice to get another one, but... I think they're going to come down. We could actually try to do this. I think we need to change that, though. Oh my god, what a shot. But he survived somehow. The dude actually survived, probably by accident. We are a fucking ranged menace now. I'm actually curious, like, to see where the host ended up. Can we see him from here? Or did he fall, like, all the way down? Okay. Might have a chance here. Dude, our weight ratio is something. Wait, I thought he went down here. The hell? Am I missing something? The hell is going on here? They followed the host here. Dude, where did the... Oh, the host fell here. What a lucky bastard. Let's try to respawn. Yo, Alluvial, thank you so much for the resub for 7, man. There you go. I think we can see them. What was this guy's name? Canned Dog or Canned Dog Food? Let's see. Canned mott, never mind. I don't know why canned dog food. I mean, it makes sense. Well, what a turn of event. Of the invasion have been today? Well, we've been streaming for an hour. It's really the same as usual so far. Nothing special. One more hour and Baby Turtle will cross the ocean and ask for twos. Yeah, could be. Thoughts on Grafted? Grafted's a pretty good weapon for invasions because you get that 5-second ender, which is very handy. And it's a colossal with good damage. And you can also use it just for the ender or just for the 5 extra points. There's a lot of reasons to use it. It's a pretty obvious choice in a lot of situations. Dude, I think this guy was, I think this guy is actually Night Lord's partner. Could be wrong here, but not this one, the other one. Yeah, I think he is. You really had a partner, man. Just run into my attack. I know you want it. He just wants to run in there. Oh. Whoa! That net. Backstab don't exist. These panic roll. Dude, Night Lord, you could not have gotten a worse teammate. The guy is actually like 2-shot panic rolling. Fucking. Yeah, boy. Okay, where is that house though? Okay, went in here. Now you're gonna be stuck between me and a scorpion. Oh, never mind. just a bit too far. Oh, wow. This guy has that net. Thank you. This game is so unserious. Yeah. Someone said I'm the best out of anyone here in the group chat. And I had trying to start shit, so I said this that Thank you, unintentional backstab. What a great mechanic to tie that to light attacks. Star King, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome in, man. Really appreciate that. Unfortunate BS animation. Hey, dude, it happens fucking all the time in this game. Like, yeah, you can be careful about it, but it's still going to happen to, like, anyone. Makes you rage more than you should. Yeah, it's very annoying because it's such an easy thing to, like, fix, you know? But again, like, we just accepted it at this point. This is the game we're gonna get. Until the next one. Oh, wow. That's unfortunate. Bro, throughout all the smoke, I can't see shit. Oh! We actually have company. Bro, that fucking ghost hit, like... another fucking skill-less ass gimmick. That's GG. If you think that the game and the community is dying because of Chainsaw, you're just clueless, let's be honest. You don't know what you're talking about. First of all, It's not even in the game anymore. Didn't really change the game being active or not when it was patched. And let's be honest, the real reason why the game is dying is the fucking player limit. That's the real reason why. The fact that there's a counter stung that you can turn off, on and off, just on a whim, and that you're never gonna get any help. You know? That's why. Oh, that's not what you said. I'm sorry. Oh, never mind. That's exactly what you said. You said you don't get people championed and grafted and chainsaw, then go online on forum and cite about how the game is dying, like they're not the premier reason on the community end of the spectrum. Oh, on the community end. So, the game is the premier reason, but on the community end, they're the premier reason, is what you're saying. Well, that's still false, though. Because it didn't really change anything, to be honest. Like, on the community end, the real reason why the game is dying is that most of the community is stupid. That's... Like, if you're talking about the community itself, like, they don't know what the game needs, and they don't know what they want, and they don't know how the game would be better. That's... On the community end, that would be the issue, not fucking people playing with what's in the game. In fact, actually, your point is so wrong that one of the... You know, one of the reasons why it's so wrong is that not only was it good that people played with it, it actually got patched because it got attention because people were playing with it. So if there was no one playing with it, it would have never gotten patched. So it was actually a good thing. So it's just, you know, it's just the complete opposite, really. Yo, Goldmask, thanks for the gifted to Gino. Really appreciate that. Insane fucking... Insane blind spot spam. Holy shit. But to be honest, like, if we're being actually honest here, like, the game dying is not really that much on the community as it's really the games itself. Like, I don't really blame the players for the game dying. I blame mostly the developers, really. And I blame the developers, I say that. I don't even think it's their intention to keep the game alive, like, forever. Like, yeah, sure. You know, the parent company would love to have the game alive forever and keep generating sales for both the game and the DLC. I'm sure they'd love it, but I don't even think that's necessarily what Miyazaki is aiming for, so... At the end of the day, like, I don't even think that's what they want, so... It's not really a surprise that the game has a decline in activity and whatever. But what's frustrating for us is that we know for sure that it would be, like, very long-lasting with a few changes that are not going to happen. Okay, there they are. You know what? Let's do the good old... Go down here. Oh, that was the host? Oh well. But to go back on like the topic of like chainsaw and grafted, first of all, I don't even think chainsaw and grafted are in the same like category, because quite frankly, grafted after the DLC, like yeah, you got 13 level, but you got helmets and gear that were worth like 8 levels. So like if you actually had to make builds around it, it was like basically almost the same thing that if you were like going to optimize for a helmet. So that really legitimately did not change much, aside from the fact that you would have been able to use fashion instead of an ugly helmet to like benefit from the stats. So that I really didn't really care about. It really did not affect the game like whatsoever. Chainsaw though, I think it was a negative for the game. It's just that it was low on the list of like things that were problematic, because it was behind a wall of like, you know, not everyone was able to do it. Perhaps a little more on PC, because you can always do it with macro. But on PC you can cheat too, so you know, it's never going to stop players from cheating on PC either way. But it definitely was not something that was necessarily like positive for the game. I'll definitely agree that it was a negative. Was it like one of the worst things? No, it was just a negative in the long list of like negative stuff that the game had. But it wasn't like the biggest problem. It was nice that it got patched though, I'll definitely say that. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it was fairly irrelevant, really. We're all but forced to wear the ugly divine helmet though if you want to be optimal. Yeah, that's why I didn't really feel like grafted was a big issue, because really, like ultimately, like if you actually sit down and make an optimized build, like legitimately, like grafted doesn't really benefit all that much. Like maybe you're gonna get 1 or 2 points, but like, you know, you the matchmaking like in this game is like well beyond 1 or 2 points. Right? Like, if you are, like, 125, you're gonna match with, like, you're gonna invade 150s. It's like, what is the difference there? Like, between, like, 3 levels more, or, you know? It's really not, like, a big difference. And if you were, like, talking about, like, fair duels, well, I mean, to be fair, if you are going to duel, and you're not 125, like, both of you, and one of you has grafted, well, I mean, it's not really a fair duel in the first place if one player's like 139 and the other's 125. Same thing for one using grafted, the other one not. But again, like, using grafted or being 139 or 150, you know, would have been the same thing for an unfair duel. So in the like the dynamic doesn't really change basically. Like if you want to cheese someone off of levels in a fair duel, you can already do it. If you want to max out your character points at a certain level, you can already do it with the helmets. What level for invasions are you going? Right now, I've been invading at 135 recently, and the main reason is when we do the 2v2s. When I am 125, I am not... When I am 125, I'm not matching with 150s in the arena for 2v2s. And so, some people that watch the stream only have a 150. And it's quite enjoyable to play with as many people as we can during these 2v2s. And again, I'm gonna reiterate my point, like, in the grand scheme of things, you know, like, being from... In 2v2s, like, 125 or 135 fighting 150, it doesn't really change all that much. Like, yes, it's a significant advantage in terms of points if you're mid-maxing in a 1v1, but in a 2v2s, like, I don't really care all that much, so... So I would rather have, like, more activity, more variety in players in the stream, and be able to match with 125, 135, and 150. Because we get more activity that way. But, if you want good levels to invade at, I mean, historically, the Souls games, it's always been the same thing. If you want to upgrade with a fully upgraded weapon, it starts at 90. You can start at level 90, and then you make your way up from there. Either you go 90, either you go 125, either you go 135, 139, either you go 150, either you go like 165, 167, either you go like 200, or you go like 301 plus, which is max level bracket. So it depends on what you're looking for, really. Like, for me, I've always seen the Souls game as build making is a big part of why these games are appealing. Unfortunately, From Software does not necessarily feel the same way, as they make build making pretty much irrelevant in these games just because you can level up forever. And there's actually no point into allocating your stats properly if you are someone who's going through the game, as you will always be able to max out your stats at the end of the day. So there's no builds per se in this game. There's only the process to reaching max level. That's really like what it comes down to on like a game design fundamental. And that's an issue because like the fun in build making come in the variety of like different builds. It's way more fun to have like, oh, you know, oh, this guy is a fucking warrior with like a lot of strength, or this guy is a mage who's like really good at casting. Oh, but this guy is a mage, a strength build, a dex build, a fate build. Come on, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, what is the point there, you know? So I've always been saying, I think these games, the Souls games, doesn't even matter if it's Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1, 2, you name it. I think there's a strong argument to be made that these games should be hard capped at level 200. And I say 200 even though I'm someone who would prefer a lower level. I think 200 is like the best compromise for the player base in general. Like, there's really not like anything that you would be able to do beyond 200 that you can't do at 200. Like, 200 is already very high. So 200, like, already everyone that wants to make like the perfect hybrid build can already do that at 200. Like, all the casuals that go through the game and like play the game multiple times, they're gonna probably end up at around 200. So I think 200 is a really good like stopping point for like the community as a whole, like encapsulating all the PvEers, all the casual players. Whereas obviously, you know, the more hardcore players would probably prefer something lower, like myself. But if you have to choose between a max level of 200 versus a max level of fucking, you know, 700, like, the choice is pretty clear. Like, yes, the game would be absolutely better with a 200 level hard cap. It would actually have... Like, what this would allow is prevent someone from being better in every way, like, without any stat allocation that's, like, thoughtful. Like, basically, like, oh, you just have points in strength, fate, and dex, you know, just like everywhere. You have points everywhere. You don't really care about where you put your stats. Where at least at 200, you're gonna have to pick a specialization in order to be well spread out with your stats. Thought he would push there. Wow, that actually stunned me on the first... Hey, that was a shitter. I just noticed, dude. These shitters like play so bad that you don't notice until you see the name. That's a Dark Souls 3 shitter actually right there. One thing Diablo did well is you can't max everything. Well, I'll be honest, on Gun, if you actually are a game designer and you are thoughtful about how you make your game, like, you can, like, I know there's this, like, false belief that you want to give players, like, this power fantasy, like, this idea of, like, grandeur, that the player is, like, a master, like, you know. But the truth is, the fun for, like, everything, even, like, being more creative, it comes with, like, you get more creative when you are under restrictions, basically. If you can... I don't know if you ever heard this term, like, where, like, artists get... it's like they freeze when they see a blank canvas. Because the hardest part is when you start from scratch. And you get more inspired if you are given, like, a brief or something, a subject or whatever. Well, I mean, it's the same for, like, build making like that. If you don't have, like, some restrictions to build making and you can make everything at the same time, well, there's no creativity there. Because the build you're going to be making is just 99 and everything. Whereas, otherwise, if you have a restriction for your build, well, then you can get creative with how you spread your stats. You want to make your build unique. You want to prioritize offense, certain weapons, you know. I mean, it's just really, it's very, very basic design philosophy, honestly. And it's a little rudimentary the way From Software has it. And really, it makes sense that From Software games are like that, because Miyazaki is the one that gets to decide these things. And we know that he does not play his own games. So he would not really know what it's like, the fun of creating a build, starting a new character, making another build, you know? You don't really get that if you don't play. Like, this is the sort of thing of, like, even people who think they would disagree with the idea or prefer the current system, even these people, if you actually presented them the game, like, in a state where there is a level cap, chances are they would still enjoy it more, even if they think they would not. Like, at the end of the day, I am actually very confident that regardless of if they like the idea or not, when it comes to actually playing with a game that has a level restriction, they would actually prefer it over the current version that we have. And another big reason for that is that you'd find more activity. You'd find more activity for co-op. You know, that's a big point. Like, how much more fun would it be if you actually had to, like, make your build around fighting, like, a particular boss, and you had to optimize some things around it? Or that you had to find help to help you with a boss. Well, if you are at level cap 200... chances are you're going to get a lot of options for help for your boss, because that is the level cap. You see what I mean? So it also helps the activity massively here. I think I shot between his legs. Oh no, he's opening the door. Oh, he dodged it. Okay, let's just go there. Now, again, you know, if you're someone who's very hardcore about the game, or Souls games in general, you know, like myself, you would find that 200 is too high. I agree with you, I understand, but this is not a decision that should come from a single perspective. Like, when I say 200, I'm thinking about the casuals. That's really what it comes down to. Like, I genuinely feel like for the average player, this would be the best case scenario for them. Like, I think their experience would be enriched. Oh my god. Mungus, is that you? He does not care. Unfortunately, though, like, our discussions when it comes to this game, like, it always circles back to the exact same thing every time. So, like, it's like we're a broken record at this point. Glitches are intrinsically negative for the game. I would not agree with that. There's definitely glitches that are positive for the game. Just look at Dark Souls 1 Toggle Escape. You know, like, stuff like that makes the game playable, you know? You can't say that about, like, you can't, like, just paint every glitches with a broad stroke like that. A lot of them are negative, I'll definitely agree with you, but it needs to be looked at on a case-by-case basis. It has to. I am fearing a bear ambush. Bro, he just tanked all of it? What a madman. I didn't know they removed poise damage altogether for the Rain of Arrow. That's crazy. Yeah, not just for Souls. Yeah, exactly, Chirico. For any game, really. Because really, glitches are like, you know, they're like accidents, right? They're all like accidents that we're not thought of. They're accidents by the devs, and they're perfectly, it's normal to have glitches. Like, no matter how good the developers are, like, bugs, glitches, it's completely normal and expected to have unforeseen, you know, consequences of, like, making your game whatever. Happy little accidents, yeah, exactly. And so you need to look at each and every single one of them individually and ask yourself, is this positive or negative for the game? And sometimes the answer is it's actually positive, but more often than not, it's negative. Because it breaks the game in some capacity. But still, like, sometimes it can actually have a very positive impact, and so that's why it's worth looking at it on a case-by-case basis. Now, if you ask me, is there a glitch in Elden Ring that is actually positive for the game? I actually can't think of anyone. I can't think of any glitch. Can you guys think of a glitch that was actually positive for this game? I'm trying to think right now. No, Chainsaw... Chainsaw was not a positive. Everyone's saying Chainsaw. Andy Tech? Andy Tech is not a glitch. Oh, yeah, the Ice Spear glitch. That's a very good one. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's a very good one. Yeah, Ice Spear. That's such a good example, actually, because Ice Spear was very... Oh, he turned off the tone. Or turned it on. Like, Ice Spear was very, like... It had such a low impact. All it did was counter very lightly something that was quite obviously, like, busted. Just heard something. Oh, okay. It's laggy a little bit. Oh yeah, crouch stamina regen. That's another one. Yeah, that crouch. It was. I would agree that it was debatable, but I think if you understood like how much of a positive impact that had for the game, like being more aggressive, I think you would still come to the conclusion that crouch stam regen was positive for the game. I think. Oh, you guys have some good answers actually. Yeah, those are really good. I really like both example because the ice spear hitting through guard was undoubtedly, like unarguably, a positive for the game, especially at the time where fingerprint was completely broken, especially at the time, and it would still be like so like unsequential today, like even without shield being like completely busted, it would still like be a good addition to the game. Oh, wow. There you go. Stamina regen, I think, is another great example because it just sits on, like, the fence where some people disagree. But at the end of the day, it's like... Just the fact that people are not sure if it's good or not just proves the point that it's not always black and white. I think chain casting was negative. I know a lot of people liked it, but that's because spells are badly designed, and chain casting made them effective, but they also made them broken. So I see why a lot of people would put it into like the good category, but like quite frankly, like the people that are knowledgeable about the game would probably agree that, you know, it was definitely a negative. I mean, you can't have something create frame traps and say that didn't exist and say it was a good thing. I get it though, you know, it made spells like much more viable. I get that. Do you think Estus glitch was positive for Dark Souls 3? Estus cancel or Estus refill or Estus cancel? I actually think Estus refill was positive. Estus cancel, it was slightly negative. But like Estus refill really really made it so the gap between the resources that the invader has and the resources that the ganker has gets nullified because both have infinite resource basically. So that plays a big deal into like how one can play around these things. Okay, we got teammate there. V2 moment. Bro, oh, that was Teach. Well, good shit, Teach. I was about to say teammate just smoked them. Well played, Teach. Yeah, 2v2 moment. Dude, Scythe is such a fun weapon to play with, man. Scythe is really like the pinnacle of like brilliantly designed weapon, I think. Especially in the in the place sights it right now. I think it's such a well thought out like weapon when it comes to like speed, attack variety, all that stuff. I really think it's well made because it really rewards skillful play, keeps priority, has some neat little combos. You know, it has some vortex potential, but you need to work for it. Nothing is free with it, but it has every tool you'd need. Yeah, it's just like peanut butter, exactly. It's the peanut butter of Elden Ring. Yo, what's up, Steel? You're gonna start maining Sight? Oh yeah, it's a good choice. Vale, when he was still playing the Elden Ring, he was starting to main it as well, like Uggs and Sight, yeah. Digress. Fighting against Estus cancel user pushed me to be a bit more aggressive and constant to the player. Yeah, that's why I say it's not like the biggest negative. Because it made fights only really favor the people who could get finishes, but it was maybe just a bit too hard to get finish. And not just Estus cancel, but like Bolus cancel definitely made it so that... Oops, shoot inputs. So that poison became irrelevant. And you needed poison in Dark Souls 3 because fucking God knows how bad connections were. Like, the bolus cancel made poison useless in Dark Souls 3, unfortunately. And poison in Dark Souls 3 was already, like, slightly underpowered. So... because it didn't really do all that much damage. It was very hard to get a proc. Especially when you didn't have, like, borders for an arena. Unlike Elden Ring, where poison is pretty much free, like... you can poison anyone, like, on a whim. Like, you just need to get, like, 2 ghost hits or 3 ghost hit at max with, like, some weapons, and you're gonna get your poison proc. It's, like, dumb easy to get a poison proc in this game. Probably a little bit too easy, even. Here, since we are, let's do that. Guys, I don't even know how I got that. Oh my God. Oh, come on. I was sure he was going to panic roll that. There you go. Time that. It was facing you and got stuck in the backstab. I still don't know how I got that. I would need to rewatch it. That was weird. It's very strange. Yeah, Bleed was... actually, Bleed in Dark Souls 3 was bad because they had nerfed it to the ground. But before that, like the Obidachi, or whatever it was called, the double katana, had a guaranteed bleed combo. And the Cartus Curve Sword, which was completely broken, it did great sword damage and had like a bleed proc in like 5 hits. These two really made bleed seem like a problem. And that's why bleed was nerfed in Dark Souls 3, like, in the first place. Because there was like some obnoxious fucking combo with ridiculous damage that made it do like Like crazy, crazy burst damage. But yeah, they nerfed it. Dude, Karthus was so... so bad, man. It was like truly the pinnacle of like a weapon that just has way too much going for it. It was like really bad. Oh boy. Space Spinner, thanks for the raid again, man. Welcome back. Really appreciate that. You watched a video recently, it looks faster than PK. It was longer than PK. It wasn't faster. PK is the same speed that Karthus was. But it was longer. It was longer, it did more damage, it was infusible. Like, you could rock fucking... You could rock it on the dark build and, like, just melt shields. But again, like, back when bleed was like a 5-hit, you would probably rather have, like, bleed on the 5th hit anyway. As it did a ton of stamina damage anyway. It's like even at the end of Dark Souls 3, fucking... Karthus was still... or not Karthus, PK was still, like, destroying shield, you know? Any curve sword for that matter, not even just PK, but... Okay, there's a guy there. Don't know if there's a teammate around, though. Could be a dangerous map, too. I don't know where I'm going anymore. I think this is a circle, right? Yeah, that's a circle. We should have a teammate, right? Is that teammate? No, it's not teammate. Now we're gonna have to be careful. Oh, there you go. We got Maya. That's great. That's perfect. Now, because of this game's spawn, you might have to be a little patient to group up. Is that Maya back there? It might be. Yeah, it is. Alright. There you go. Alright. It's gonna be dangerous to go there. Okay, Maya went in. This tiny spots definitely favors them, like, big time. Because they don't have friendly fire and we do. I'll play Maya. What helmet is that? Is that the pulp helmet? Oh yeah, the dynamic for status in Dark Souls 3 was very different, simply because you had combos. So the way status was calculated was, you know, like 6 hits in Dark Souls 3 is 3 hits in Elden Ring. But it's not exact math, you know? It's not exact. Because, like, if you look at the R2 damage, for instance, a lot of R2s in Dark Souls 3 didn't combo. But it did much less damage than the R2s in Elden Ring. Like, the R2s in Elden Ring still do more damage and both attack don't combo, for instance. Finally feels good to press R2. I'll definitely say that there's definitely more variety of viable attacks in this game. There's definitely no doubt about that. Like, we were struggling to find, like, attacks that were viable in Dark Souls 3. And it made, like, weapon be, like, extremely... It made weapons very one-dimensional. And that's why, like, you know, swapping became a thing. It's because it, like, weapons lacked attacks. We didn't have enough options to, like, roll catch with most weapons, so... We had to come up with, like, a method to, like, remedy that. Fuck me, not this place again. I definitely don't want to. I don't like that. Oh, you are so fucked. The guy was sandwiched between the PvE. What a terrible spot for him.